Marcus Chen wiped the grease from his hands onto his worn coveralls, squinting at the chronometer on his wrist. The interview at Stellar Dynamics Corporation was in 43 minutes. If he left now, caught the express shuttle from the lower district, he'd make it with maybe 5 minutes to spare. 5 years of night classes. 5 years of working double shifts at his uncle's repair shop, while other kids his age partied or slept. 5 years of sacrificing everything for this one shot at becoming a quantum drive engineer at the most prestigious shipbuilding company in the Sol system. Then he heard the sound. It was a peculiar whine, the kind that made his mechanic's instincts flare like an alarm. Marcus looked up from his toolbox to see a small craft, alien design, definitely Valorian from the bioluminescent hull plating, limping through the traffic lanes above. Smoke trailed from its starboard thruster, and the ship was descending at an angle that screamed catastrophic failure. The craft barely managed to set down in the maintenance bay across from his uncle's shop, its landing struts buckling on impact. The access hatch hissed open, and out stumbled a Valorian, 7 feet of iridescent skin and 4 arms gesticulating wildly. "Help! Please, anyone!" the alien called out in accented but clear English. "My ship's primary coolant line has ruptured. If I don't stabilize the core in the next 20 minutes, the quantum drive will collapse and take half this district with it." Marcus glanced at his chronometer again. 39 minutes. He should keep walking. This wasn't his problem. He'd worked too hard, sacrificed too much. But his feet had already changed direction, carrying him toward the smoking ship. "Let me see it," Marcus said, climbing into the craft before his brain could override his instincts. The Valorian's large, opalescent eyes widened. "You understand. Valorian quantum systems?" "Quantum is quantum," Marcus muttered, already scanning the engine compartment. "The principles don't change just because you wrap them in fancy biotech." The damage was worse than he'd thought. The coolant line hadn't just ruptured, it had melted, likely from a feedback surge. The temporary patches wouldn't hold. He needed to reroute the entire system, and he needed to do it in. He checked again. 17 minutes. His fingers moved on autopilot, years of experience guiding him through the alien yet somehow familiar technology. Humans might have been the newcomers to the galactic stage, but their talent for improvisation and mechanical intuition was already becoming legendary. While other species followed manuals and protocols, humans just understood how things worked. "You're not just patching it," the Valorian observed, all 4 arms holding tools and components as Marcus directed. "You're redesigning the flow pattern." "Your species over-engineers," Marcus said, his hands never stopping. "You've got 3 redundant systems where one efficient one would work better. Hand me that coupling." "No, the blue one. But the safety protocols will work fine. Trust me." 8 minutes. The Valorian fell silent, watching in what Marcus assumed was either awe or horror as he stripped away centuries of Valorian engineering tradition and replaced it with human pragmatism. When he finally sealed the last connection, and the drive hummed back to life, stable, efficient, and running cooler than it probably had when it left the factory, Marcus allowed himself one breath of satisfaction. Then he looked at his chronometer. He'd missed the interview by 23 minutes. 5 years. Gone. Just like that. "Young human," the Valorian said softly, "you have just saved 3,000 lives, including mine. I am Velthar Quinsox, and you are?" "Late," Marcus said bitterly. "I'm late for the interview that was supposed to change my life." "An interview? For what position?" "Junior quantum drive engineer, Stellar Dynamics Corporation, was supposed to be there 23 minutes ago." He laughed, but it came out hollow. "Guess that ship has sailed. No pun intended." Velthar's skin rippled with colors Marcus had learned meant deep thought in Valorian body language. "Tell me, what was the name of the interviewer?" "Some bigwig. Velthar something." Marcus froze, his eyes widening as he looked at the alien properly for the first time. At the insignia on the flight suit. At the corporate badge that read, Chief Engineering Director, Stellar Dynamics Corporation, Sol System Division. "Quinsox," Velthar finished, his skin now rippling with what Marcus desperately hoped was amusement. "Yes, that would be me. I had been on my way to conduct interviews for our junior engineering program when my ship malfunctioned." Marcus felt the ground tilt beneath him. You're joking. Valorians rarely joke about professional matters. Velthar's forearms crossed in a gesture that somehow conveyed satisfaction. Tell me, Marcus Chen. And yes, I pulled your file from my communicator while you were elbow deep in my engine. Do you know why we're really hiring human engineers? Marcus shook his head, not trusting his voice. Because in the 15 minutes it would have taken any Valorian engineer to even diagnose the problem you just fixed. You redesigned an entire propulsion system using nothing but intuition and a box of spare parts. Because you chose to save lives over personal advancement without hesitation. Because you saw a problem and couldn't help but fix it, consequences be damned. Velthar placed one of his hands on Marcus's shoulder. That interview? It was to see if you could follow instructions and work within established parameters. But I've just seen something far more valuable, a human who can look at any system, no matter how alien, and make it better. He gestured toward his ship, now humming contentedly. The junior engineer position is still available if you want it, but I'm thinking we might need to discuss something more. Senior, perhaps special projects division. We've been trying to figure out how to integrate human innovation with galactic engineering standards. Seems like I've just found the perfect person to lead that initiative. Marcus stared at the alien, then at his grease-stained hands, then back at the ship he'd just saved. 5 years of sacrifice hadn't been wasted after all. They'd just been preparing him for something he'd never imagined. When do I start? He asked. Velthar's skin rippled with unmistakable laughter. How about now? We have a lot of ships that could use the human touch. As Marcus climbed back into the Valorian craft, his craft now, in a way, he smiled. Sometimes the universe had a funny way of testing you. And sometimes being human meant passing tests you didn't even know you were taking.